Hello, interwebs. My name is Darrell,
And my name is Greg.
and you have reached Inside the Mastermind. And today we're going to talk a little bit about the this book, actually, How to Win Friends and Influence People, and more specifically, uh, got a lot of glare here going, but more specifically, the first three aspects here, and maybe we'll just kind of go back and forth here, Greg, on those aspects. But before we get into that, I need to go ahead and throw out a corny joke here. So, um, the I guess the corny joke is, how can you tell you're at a true friend's house? Right? How
Um, because they feed you.
No, you can tell these days, you can tell you're at a true friend's house when you go over to their house and your Wi-Fi connects automatically. That's how you tell these days here. But Corey joke again. Um, Today we're just going to talk about, yeah, the first three principles that it talks about in this landmark book. If you don't have this book, you should get it. Here's just a book for how to live life, and yeah, it's a great book. The first principle in here on how to win friends and influence people is, I'll go ahead and jump into it. It's uh, get into here, and that principle is, don't criticize, condemn, or complain. So, yeah, as far as that goes, there's so much to complain about out there right now, so much to condemn, and I think I'm guilty of this. Everybody's kind of guilty of this at some point, but try not to do it, especially when you're meeting people for the first time. Just try not to do it at all. See if you can go a month without condemning, criticizing, or complaining. I think in the Bible it says, let he without sin throw the first stone," and like, uh, nobody throws the stone because everybody's got a little bit of sin going on. What do you think about that? Right?
Yeah, I think that us as human beings definitely have a habit of criticizing people, talking, being negative and just complaining all the time. So yeah, I would say he had developed a habit of, because again, it's sometimes you see somebody that could be considered, you may think they're weird or just totally different, and it's easy for you to develop a thought about this person, or just you assume certain things and criticize that person, but then at the same time, no one's perfect. We all have our own flaws or differences. So again, that's something I kind of used to struggle with. Just kind of maybe see someone and like just look weird, like maybe I don't, maybe my facial expression would tell how I'm thinking, maybe looking disgusted or something. I taught myself, oh, hey, you're not special, or you're not you're not perfect, Greg. So what if someone did that to you? Um, it kind of taught me to, like, even if I see somebody that may look a little bit weird or different, or just I mean, see it, notice it, but it's like, okay, move on just right away. Okay, they're just a human being just like me. I'm not going to focus my energy on judging this person. There's no need to. So I see something, somebody weird, maybe they have on a walking in stilts and have a blue hat on. So I don't know, something that just stands out to you. Like, whoa, okay, well, whatever. Because I know back when I was younger, when you see someone that maybe is in a wheelchair, or maybe someone that's mentally retarded, and they're in public and they're yelling or screaming, it causes a distraction. People just like kind of stare. To me, it's like rude. I'm like, don't stare at that person. They can't help that they're doing that. So I mean, yeah, you might notice it for a second. Okay, but then right away, don't stare. Just move on. You don't have to keep looking at the person. Okay, you saw it once. It's not like you've never seen a different person before. So I just taught myself not to be like that. But yeah, I used to be like that, but I just learned how to control that, because we're all human and do certain things.
Yeah, I know. Uh, like I was just telling you right before we jumped on. I need to reread this book, and there are people who read this book, like, I believe, on a quarterly basis, sometimes even more frequently. I need to be one of those people because I know, like, I struggle with the complaint factor. Maybe that kind of trickles down to other people that I associate with. The most, the one I associate with most being my son. There, I have told a couple people that he's got some areas to work on in the complaint area, and that probably resonates for me. So I need to work on that myself, I believe. I guess we can jump into the second principle here, Greg. You have that up. Maybe you can jump into that. If you don't, I can kind of share it real quick. there.
Yeah, I don't. I'm looking at the document, the Google Doc, and yeah, it's that part is kind of weird. So yeah, I don't see anything.
Oh, okay, so the second principle is give honest and sincere appreciation there. And I think that's really important. I'm not sure you want to chat about that real quick.
Oh yeah, that totally makes sense. You know, and just before we jump into that, to me, again, when I try to balance myself or think about certain things and try to find resources or just say mentors, honestly, a lot of them are in these books that we read. Because you got to remember, these books were written way before our parents were even born, and just the knowledge that these guys had back in the day, and they, you know, we can still use it today because they decided to do something to help serve people. And like this is the perfect example. You know, Dale Carnegie wrote this book, and now it's serving people. You know, can be 100, 200, 300 years from now. But yeah, I do believe you have to give sincere. Um, uh, um, I'm sorry. What was
To give sincere and honest and sincere appreciation. So I guess when I think about that um, aspect, it's just you want to say like, oh, you want to say, hey, like I really like the work that you did, and say it like, well, honestly, don't just go up to somebody and say, oh my gosh, like you have the most beautiful dress, and like you're not being honest, you're being insincere, you're just trying to gain their favor. People are smart; they'll kind of like figure that out and feel that you're kind of insincere and like mark you as an insincere person. And like I don't think many people like to hang out around insincere people unless they just like to have their ego boosted there. But like you have the little spidey sense, I think, in a way, for lack of a better word, going on when you're around people who just kind of constantly boost you up, but it's like a fake boosting, like, oh my gosh, your shoes are so great. And then the next person they see is, oh my gosh, your shoes are so great. I'm not really, I personally can feel those people usually and kind of sense them out just because uh, of the perspective that I have, and I don't really trust them as much as somebody who says, okay, well, hey, you need to work on this area, but you're doing really great here. What do you think, Greg?
Oh yeah, I 200% agree with that because like I believe it's Zig Ziglar that said, you know, if you help enough people get what they want, you in return will get what you want, which obviously is true. However, I believe sometimes people take certain things that we have, like those truths, and then over time, you know, there's people who kind of give that a bad rep or they try to manipulate it in a negative way, and then it gives it like a bad taste. So the people who are not so sincere, yeah, they may try to present you with some type of product or service, right, to provide you with something of value, and in return you give them money, you know, help them make money, but they do it so quick in it because their mindset is strictly just thinking about the money, like they want to just get rich quick or not really thinking about you sincerely. So then if you decline it, they'll be gone in the second. You will never hear from them again. So to me, it's more, I think about building a relational relationship versus a transactional relationship because in case you don't understand what that means, transactional is, you know, where you're just focused on just putting a product or service in somebody's hand, getting your money, and you're gone to the next person. That's it. You don't have any type of connection emotionally with this person. You don't really care about them. Relational transaction again is, yeah, you may have a product or service, but you either assess their needs and you genuinely care for the person, where maybe what you have is not even a good fit for them. So you say, hey, you know what, this is not good for you, and you won't even offer it to them. Again, you're not making money doing that. But I think that brings way more value than just a dollar. So I do believe you have to have the true, sincere care for people and not just try to push things in their hands and faces, even if it doesn't make sense.
Yeah, no, and going on the whole relationship versus transactional aspect, I think we talked about that in a previous episode as far as sales go. But yeah, I mean, like it used to be you could just do transactional sales, like, hey, I'm just going to sell this person this trinket. It's going to fall apart in 2 days. I won't see them again. But world doesn't work that way anymore. Like even if you don't see them again 2 days from now, they could go on to Yelp and just post that like you had the most horrific service and like this trinket that you sold them fell apart 3 days later. You're just really rude about it, but you got your money. Like, and that could destroy your business. So there's that aspect of it. And quickly, if that's okay, just go ahead and jump into the third principle. And That third principle is arouse in the other person an eager want. So this one's a little bit hard to kind of explain, but as I was kind of reading through the book again here, the one example that stands out is like two different examples of a letter sent to a company about kind of a problem they had with one of their vendors. So, or actually one of their customers, I believe it was. So this customer would kind of like block one of their main areas of traffic and whatnot, and they started the first letter off with like, our business has been in business for 1,800 years. That since it's been in business for 1,800 years, we pride ourselves at like getting things to our customers in a timely, blah blah blah, et cetera, et cetera. Didn't really get that great of a response, or were not expecting that great of a response from it. And actually they didn't get that much of a response. So they tried another letter where they said, hey, dear XYZ customer, you guys have been in business with us for the past 20 years, and we really appreciate your business. You guys do. We really love working with you. However, we just wanted to point out that your trucks are blocking us, and then kind of went into that a little bit. So you want to talk about the other person first. Like, what do you think about that?
Oh yeah, I totally agree with that. And it's kind of just like when you think about, even if you're maybe at a job and you're a manager per se, and you maybe have an employee or someone that's under you, one of your people that you're coaching, maybe they had a bad score on like a quality assurance call, QA call. So, or maybe they're hand on time, when they're speaking to customers, or, if it's like a call center, or just, it doesn't matter the type of job you're in, but let's say the manager wants to provide feedback, and instead of, think about, guys who are listening, if you have a manager response, okay, you're doing this wrong, this is horrible, you need to get better, I expect this of you, and then walk away. Like, you're not going to feel good. You're going to feel horrible. You're going to be demotivated. Your energy just like sucks your energy out of you. So you're going to get extremely tired and sleepy. You're not going to want to work, and you're just going to feel groggy all day. Versus the other way around, where, hey, can we have a conversation? You're doing this really well. You're good at this, but can you please, maybe try this more or add this on? Again, speak with care, like the person's a human being. And I think you just have a better result and a better yield, getting even better production if you learn to speak to people on their what they do well versus what they do wrong. Just say, hey, within this can be maybe improved on, or figure out a way to say this so it's not affecting the person in a negative way. To say, you can do this a bit better, or hey, this is how I would do it. If I were you, I would try it this way. That's what I did and helped me get to where I am. So maybe if you want to try that. So I agree with that approach.
Yeah, so those are basically the top three, the first three principles in this book. This book has a lot of principles in it, and all good, all 100% good. If you've not read this book, definitely read it. I think my brother shocked me because he read this book for the first time maybe 4 or 5 years, maybe it was like 3 years ago. Actually, yeah, about 3 years ago or so. He read this, and I'm like, you haven't read this book yet? And I think it kind of made some definite changes to his life. But so again, let me just go ahead and recap the first three principles there. Those are: 1, don't criticize, condemn, or complain. I need to work on that myself, especially the last one. Principle 2 is give honest and sincere appreciation. So just don't give fake praise. It's as simple as that. Like, appreciate people for things that they really do well. You don't want to tell somebody who like used to be 200 pounds and now they're 300 pounds, like, have you lost weight? Like, they're just going to immediately say, okay, you're just trying to be sarcastic now. And I'm sarcastic once. I need to work on that too. But and then the third principle is arouse in the other person eager want. So talk about what they want, what they desire, not about, hey, what you desire. So anything else you'd like to add to that, Craig?
I think you definitely hit all of the points there. And actually the quote that I can give for today is actually from Dale Carnegie. He says, any fool can criticize, condemn, and complain, and most fools do. That's from Dale Carnegie himself.
True story. And And just as a kind of last note on that, I mean, I think there's another quote out there. I don't know exactly how it goes, but it's just the effect that well, there's a much more eloquent quote. I'll probably add it to the notes here, but there's all anybody can kind of sit and criticize and complain, but the one who has the power and focus is the person who is in the ring, who's there fighting, fighting for the goal, fighting towards what they want in life. And if you're not the one actually doing that, and you're just kind of complaining about what other people do, you're just a spectator. Why be a spectator of the fight there? So, with that, I will say, if you are wanting some motivation, wanting some insight, wanting some inspiration in your life, definitely check out planetgreensin.com. This is Greg said he's got some wonderful products that might help you in your journey for self-improvement. If you're looking to kind of just grow as a person, definitely check out his site. It's got a great blog by the same name. Kind of go for the description.
Thank you. And thank you, Darrell. And yeah, if you guys are looking to join a mastermind group of yourselves and get qualified for that, Darrell's the guy to check with. So definitely look at the link in the description below. Darrell's accepting applications for this mastermind group as well. So if you feel like you can bring some inspiration, encouragement, and just some knowledge to people who may need it out there, definitely click on the link below. Darrell will review your application and be in contact with you if you're a good fit or qualified for the next step.
Well, thank you so much for that, Greg. And with that, I think we're going to go ahead and call this a day on Inside the Mastermind. If you enjoyed this episode, please go ahead and subscribe and tell a friend. If you did not enjoy it, please go ahead and contact us directly and give us feedback on how we can improve. That, thank you so much for joining us, and have a great rest of the day.